This is Mr. Smith, and today we're going to do something a bit more advanced with OpenShot. We are going to do a simple animation. Now I'm going to start off with this monster we've got here that I got from publicdomainvectors.org. I will cite this in my credits so that you can get the same monster if you want it. But we have this imported into our library. I've already shown how to import things into libraries. I'm not going over that right now. And it's an SVG file. It imports pretty well. There's no text in it, so I didn't have to worry about that. And it's just sort of sitting there. That's not very useful at all, to be honest. Now I could click over here and go up to animate, and I could have it zoom in at the beginning and zoom out at the end, and that can be useful. But I would like it to be a rampaging monster, not just one that's zooming in, saying hi, and then zooming out again. So we're going to need to use the properties. Now, how do we get these to show up? It's actually not too difficult. If you right-click on a clip or click on this little arrow here, you've got an option that says properties. Click on that, and this appears over here. You have a whole lot of options to play with, and I do recommend playing with them. They are quite interesting, and you can break it in interesting ways. But right now, we're primarily going to be focusing on location X and Y over here. Now, to start off, I'm going to go to the beginning of the clip, and we're going to set a starting point for this. Now, I want my monster to be rampaging up and down. So, if I click on location Y, and you notice how that turned green when I clicked on location Y, that's going to be relevant in a little bit. And I can drag this back or forth to put my monster where I want it to be. I could also double click here and put in an exact number, like say 0.3. That looks pretty good. And then I go a little bit further along, and I can drag this again, but I already know because of what I've done earlier that I want 0.5. So now it's going down, but if I go to here and type 0.3, now it's going back up again. So now if I hit play, now imagine, if you will, that this was a scene where there was a background moving, going this way. Now it would look like this monster is stepping up and down as it walks. Now, I have already gone through the tedium of this over here. If I take a look at this clip here, and the green background is because I am going to turn this into fodder for a chroma key lesson in the near future. But if you take a look at this, you can see it's just walking. Now, each of these little green dots here is what's called a keyframe. Basically, it's saying to OpenShot at this exact moment, have location Y for this image be 0.5. And at this exact moment, have location Y be 0.3. And then OpenShot does the rest for everything in between. It says, oh, I need to get from here to here. I'm going to put everything in between. Now, this can be really useful and really horrible, depending on what you do. And let's say there's a spot near the beginning where I want them to tilt their head back and roar. So I use rotation to make them go like this. And then go forward and have this go back down to 0. That can work, but it kind of sort of messes things up. Now, you can also, when you are setting keyframes, you can go to a spot where there isn't a keyframe and just right-click on the item you want a keyframe for and insert a keyframe. You can also remove a keyframe. Let's say I don't want that rotation to be happening anymore. I can right-click on this and remove keyframe, and now that's not going to be an issue anymore. Now, for this particular clip that I've got going on here, I've got my up and down motion for stomping around, but I want them to be coming in from the side and going out on the other side. So for that, I am going to use location X. There's a reason why I wasn't setting this for each time I set location Y. I could have done that, and I've done that in the past, but it's so much easier to only set 2 keyframes instead of setting 1 every half a second. So I am going to go to the beginning of my clip. I'm going to set location Y to be all the way over here, just off frame. And I'm going to go all the way over here to the end. And I'm going to do the opposite. I have a nice steady motion going all the way across. So now I could have a static image of the background. I could still have it moving this way if I want to make them look like they're going faster. And this is, well, except for this clip here, let's get rid of that, ready for export to do something else with it. So not a very long tutorial, but should be easy enough. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.